Nikki, most people are concerned about those medications, as I said, because that can actually cost more than their health care during the year. But people talk about the government plan. The government doesn't have a plan. The government has a model. And so they tell the insurance carriers, if you can match this or make it better, then you can have a plan. So basically, we have the first step is a deductible. Now the deductible is this year is normally is $25 for the government, but the other plans can have less. They can even go down to like $125 deductible, but the government's deductible is $325 for their model. Then we go into what's called stage 2, the initial coverage. Then the initial coverage is where we get our discounts. Normally, if you look at the government model, the government pays 75%, and then the individual would pay 25% in the initial coverage. Now, that's not always, that's not true, because we have, in real life, when they have these plans, they might pay $4 or $10, and that's definitely not the 75-25, but that's the government model. But also, when someone's total cost of the medicines has reached $2,850, they go into what's called the gap, or the donut hole. And when people come to me, that's what they're all interested in, and they mix it with health care, and then I say, well, no, this is Part D, and we'll get to that. So when the total cost of the medicines has reached $2,850, we go into the gap. Now that is what the insurance company pays and what the beneficiary, Medicare beneficiary, will pay. Now we will stay in that gap until the Medicare beneficiary, has paid out $4,550. But that gap is not as bad as it used to be in 2006. At the current time, for brand names, the government pays 52.5%. Okay, for generics, they pay 28% in the gap. And sometimes these insurance carriers will even sweeten the pot, and they don't have to pay that much. A beneficiary doesn't have to pay that much. Because like I said, the government says your plan has to be as good as, if not better. So it's not, you're not going to look at one plan and say, this matches this. No, we're talking about the government model. So then when we have spent $4,550 out of pocket, now that insurance company will hold true to that. Then we go into the catastrophic, where we pay $5 or 5%, whichever is greater. But there's no ceiling on that, because it will take just two brand medications to hit the gap by the end of the year. So a lot of times when people are coming off of, commercial plans, like say an employer or an individual plan, we have to review their meds and say, maybe you need to go back and speak to your doctor. And you all look at this and see what you can do to maybe switch out a generic. Of course, we don't do that, but there are some printouts on the website that will give some alternatives or generics that they can take to their doctor to, have a beginning point.